The new episodes of Love is Blind have dropped, and quite frankly I'm disgusted, angry, and I will not be holding back in my opinions on the people on this show any longer. This season is an absolute disaster in the best way, with a bunch of the couples not making it to the end of these episodes, let alone to the weddings. So let's get into it with a full recap and my full thoughts on the behaviour on episodes 10 and 11. If you're new here, I'm MadMorph, and this is my movie club where I talk about film and TV that I like and feel compelled to talk about. So find more of me at the links below this video, and let's get into this mess. Be sure to let me know what you think of the episode in a comment below. We start the episode off with Ramses and Marissa having a fight, and I'm going to be real with you. Ramses, I gave you the benefit of the doubt in the first one, but today we're keeping it real and you're getting dragged.
I'm clearly sick, have a severe vitamin D deficiency, and the PMS.
Basically, Ramses is upset that they haven't been intimate, but Marissa explains that she isn't feeling well. She's stressed going back and forth from Baltimore to here, and she's PMSing.
I don't want it to be something where you're like not satisfied because I am a sick person.
His response to that is like, yeah, okay, that's great, but is that going to be a problem in the future? Because to him, intimacy in the bedroom is so important. His pleasure is so important, and her not giving it to him every time he wants it, when he wants it, makes him question their future together.
I wish I didn't have to explain why. I've been like just maybe 3 times where I'm like, lay off on petting me or whatever. Like it's just overstimulating. Like
yeah, and I get it, and like that's fine, babe. Like
but it's not fine because you're saying it's not fine.
This off the back of the contraception conversation that we had in the last video. Oh, Ramses, we see who you are. Marissa did everything right here when she takes the info on board and asks him how he's feeling about it.
Or like,
do you feel rejected when I do that?
Maybe, I mean, yeah, maybe a little.
Do you feel rejected by it? Do you, Ramses? We see exactly where her head is at when she says,
did you know like men always like, there's like a high percentage of men when their wives get cancer, they cheat on them?
Which is true. A lot of men do cheat on their wives when they get ill or just straight up leave them. This conversation shows a glaring difference between a lot of men and a lot of women. While Ramses is in the now, worrying about, am I going to be satisfied in these moments when I want to be satisfied? The conversation is making Marissa think, I don't think this man's going to be there for me when I get sick. And this isn't just about her getting a terrible illness. This whole conversation has come about just because she's feeling under the weather and got PMS right now.
There's periods before you have the kid, like you're not want to be affectionate. This is probably going to come up multiple times in our relationship.
Instead of making her life easier and more tolerable in a time of difficulty, he's just adding to that frustration with his own needs.
That's a fair question, yeah.
But of course, he's sure to follow everything up with, well, I wouldn't want to make you feel any pressure to do anything you don't want to, you know. While simultaneously basically making out like he's not going to marry her if he thinks his needs aren't being met.
I can't like control how I feel. Like, I can't control my body.
I'm not expecting you to like change or like try to control anything.
Part of this is down to this absolute knowledge gap with a lot of boys that don't understand that women have this monthly cycle. A man's cycle is 24 hours, a woman's is over the course of the month. Some people of both genders will be more affected by their cycle than others. If your woman is heavily affected by her cycle at different times of the month, it's on you to go with that flow, so to speak, and to listen to her. If during this time her body does not want to play with you, then this whole guilt trip thing because you need to be serviced, again, this came up so much in the last episode, get over it, grow up, there is more to a relationship than that. It annoys me because so much about Ramses is entirely performative, and I stopped short of really calling that out in the last video with the military conversation. I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt with still a few episodes left, but this has proven it. It's pushed me over the edge, I'm sorry. It seems to me like everything Ramses does and says on this show is for the benefit of Ramses. But he'll say the right things in between it, like, you know, oh yeah, that's fine, oh yeah, I'm here for you, oh yeah. And it's just this absolute fake bull that everyone gets into these days of pretending they're progressive, pretending they're a feminist, pretending they're liberal. But when it comes to it, they just speak with this jargon like every conversation he has with Marissa, it's like he's tweeting and trying to get performative plus points and people to like what he's saying, rather than having a real conversation with the woman that he claims to love. And I'm over it. It's 2 or 3 conversations in a row now where Ramses has shown the type of person that he is behind the kind of progressive mask, and yeah, it's done. Like, this needs to end. Anyway, we're back with Tyler and Ashley as they try to talk it out, and Tyler, who has seemed like a great guy up to this point, says he had a friend who just couldn't afford a sperm donor, so he stepped in and helped out. He claims the kids don't know what he looks like, but he doesn't seem too confident about it.
Do the kids know what you look like?
I don't think so.
I got a lot of comments on the last video about this being a complete porky pie, as we say in London. That means a total lie, an utter fabrication of the truth. We'll get into it at some point if it comes up in the next episodes or in the reunion. Next up, it's Nick and Hannah, and we have a lot to talk about with these two today. She asks if he's ready for marriage, and he's like, well, yeah, your family likes me, my family likes you, let's do it.
Meeting your family and having that go well, and then meeting my family and having that go well, getting both of their support, that was really important for me.
Hannah, honest as ever, chips back with,
I think it's nice to have family and friends' opinions, but at the end of the day, I don't really care what anyone else thinks.
And honestly, even though Hannah is being pretty blunt with her delivery, as per usual, she's kind of right here.
My opinion's the only opinion that matters, right?
Yeah.
Too many people bring their family into a marriage, specifically their mothers or their fathers if they're a mummy's boy or a daddy's girl, but Nick being so focused on what his family think is the mindset of someone living at home in his family's basement. Hannah is the independent thinking of someone striking out on their own since they were 18 years old. Do you think these two might be incompatible?
And you're like, I would love to read. Have you read?
I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah.
Maybe last night instead of going to watch the game, I could have read. But
priorities, right?
But here is where Hannah loses me a bit.
Sometimes I feel like, you do think I'm maybe sometimes a level below you. I just want to be treated as an equal.
I think you get treated like an equal when you start contributing like an equal.
Saying this is absolutely insane. It's giving Animal Farm. I understand this is mostly about chores and her frustrations with Nick being a bit of a man-child with a lot of growing up to do, but at least on camera, Nick seems to be showing the willingness to try to be better. This is the first week of them being together out of the pods. These kinds of changes don't just happen overnight. And if you refuse to treat him like an equal until he meets your very high expectations, that's not going to go well.
And I don't mean to make you feel like that, but sometimes I feel like at 28 years old, you should know how to do things, so it just frustrates me.
It's really important to just treat each other with love and respect at every step of the way, despite who is where along their journey. No one is going to ever be running fully parallel with their partner. Sometimes you will be, but it's a very fleeting moment. One of you is always going to be slightly ahead in your journey, one of you is always going to be slightly behind, and the positions can change over time. Nick seems willing to try his best, and Hannah needs to chill a little bit and give him a chance, even though I kind of agree with her, he's a little bit sheltered. But he can't change that, he is who he is now, and he's trying to mature.
I'm growing.
Behind every great man is a greater woman,
Yeah.
We then get a really bizarre moment. Tim is mad at Alex for going to bed to have a nap after his parents came to visit.
To meet you, and as soon as the cameras cut, you decided to go to sleep at the first opportunity.
He says they drove 10 hours to be here, and as soon as the cameras stopped rolling, Alex went to take a nap, and that offended him. Alex explains herself and the way that she's feeling, and that she just likes to nap sometimes, and all of this for about 5 minutes before Tim just says this.
After reflecting on what I really want out of life and a wife, I have to be honest with myself that the answer between you and I, for me, is no.
Just like that, he has dumped her and ended things in one sentence 2 days after he did this.
I accept you as my son.
Honestly, the men on this season seem to be a bunch of shapeshifters, because Tim seemed like a really nice guy up to this point, and I'm so shocked with the way that he's treating her during this scene.
I've been given such a negative response, a temper tantrum sometimes, an attitude.
He's clearly had enough, and he's in his feelings. A switch has been flicked, and it's absolutely insane to see. Was it all just an act from Tim all along?
And with that in mind, I'm glad we can at least agree that I don't ever want to see you again.
Saying you never want to see this person again makes me really feel like they did you some injustice or some wrong. There has to be more to this than what we were seeing. I've read an interview with Alex since, and she just says she doesn't know if any of it was real or not. She hasn't spoken to him since this, and that's it. He leaves. It's over.
This was nice. I wish you the best of luck.
It's party time, and the couple curse this season has spread to its strongest couple, as Taylor makes it clear to Garrett about setting some boundaries about the way that he talks to women in his life.
That if other women from your past are talking to you, you're just shutting it down.
Yeah.
I'm engaged.
Yeah.
Someone has DM'd him from his past, and he said he liked the message and did not respond.
I saw it this morning. I didn't know how to react. I just liked the message, and then I literally did not think about it the rest of the day.
This has understandably annoyed Taylor. We'll come back to this afterwards. Monica shows up and reveals that she spoke to Steven for 2 hours on the phone yesterday. Yes, that's Steven from the last video.
Able to talk through everything and be in a good place. There's no excuse for what he did, but like, he's a good person who fucked up.
She says she understands that he's not a bad person and they've buried the hatchet. She's not interested in dating him, but it's just good to have kind of got through it together. Steven's been rightly dragged in all of the reactions to this show, but like I said in my video, everyone's human. If he takes this opportunity to try and get better going forward, if Monica can accept it and move on, it's not our place to continue to hate him. It's a sobering reminder that these are all real people with real lives. They've all got skeletons in the closet, and so have you, my dear viewer. It's so fun to talk about them like characters and critique everything, but always remember that when the show is over, let's leave it be. This is for fun, it's for entertainment. You do not need to take your opinions to Instagram and send it to them directly or comment on their posts. Let's keep it here, let's talk about it here, and when it's over, it's over. Bodan shows up looking pretty handsome, who was Marissa's other connection in the pods. I honestly think they would have made a much better couple, just saying, but Marissa says she's not interested. Katie shows up, who was Nick's other connection in the pods, and says how good looking he is.
Nick's so cute. Nick? Yeah. Like, what do you mean? He's better looking in person. Oh, good looking in person? Yeah.
I love that she says, oh, he's so much better looking in person, because you just know that the second these people got out of the pods, they Googled everyone they had a connection with. And then Garrett slips up. He's debriefing the other couple about the ex-text situation and accidentally confesses to replying after saying earlier that he had only liked it.
Oh no,
You
I'm sorry.
responded?
I'm sorry.
Taylor starts to spiral and needs to take a break. Not only has Garrett been caught in a lie, but he's been trying to backtrack and say, I didn't say that I didn't respond or that I only liked it. And she's like, yes, you did. You know, it was a little bit gaslighty, and yeah, she's not happy with it.
You told me an hour ago that you only liked the message, and now you're saying that you responded to
Yeah, I didn't just, no, I wrote a response.
That's not what you just told me an hour ago. This is changing. It's just crazy. Hey, it's weird.
Katie can't stop saying that Nick's cute.
Cute. I told her, I was like, he's much cuter than.
No, he is.
Yeah.
And Hannah talks about how good she could be for Nick. She seems quite passionate about broadening his horizons, helping him grow as a person, especially in the bedroom.
How are you?
We're really good. This is the thing. I think with him, sometimes I'm very overcritical and I'm hard on him because I'm so overcritical and hard on myself.
Yeah.
She kind of outs him here and says that his bedroom style is like an 18-year-old's, especially the fact that he doesn't use his mouth, and she's feeling a bit unsatisfied. Meanwhile, Katie and Nick are getting on like a house on fire, and we got to talk about the way that Nick says goosebumps.
Hey, you gave me goosebumps.
You gave me goosebumps.
It's giving Forrest Gump and Jenny. Your dose of positivity for this video amidst all the mess is this healthy and adorable making up session from Garrett and Taylor.
There's literally a
The details are the facts of the situation.
They look like they're about to spiral again, arguing about the semantics of facts and details like the nerds that they are.
So I guess we have a difference between what facts and details are.
This is a semantics thing. The point is I should have told you those things. I should have told you.
When Garrett finally takes a breath and just owns it and apologizes.
Yeah.
And you can almost immediately see Taylor soften and her walls come down.
I'm so sorry.
We could have done this
I should have
an hour ago.
I should have.
This is a real lesson in how easy it can be sometimes if two people actually like each other. If one of them just owns it, they can start to move forward. This was such a positive interaction from these two that I actually am starting to believe they might make it. Returning from the party, both clearly inebriated, Hannah wants to get into it with Nick about him talking to Katie tonight.
She's a cool girl.
She's my best friend.
That's your best friend in the world. Why don't you go and ask her what happened?
This conversation was pretty uncomfortable. You're both drunk, just go to bed, but it just continues.
That was my fun side. In the pods, I was the fun girl. I was so fun.
Right.
With you, there's no more fun.
Until Hannah, clearly feeling a bit better, having said her piece, is just like, you look kind of hot tonight. She just starts complimenting him and wants to go to bed.
Well, you look really hot right now.
I think I'm just ready for bed.
Bet, me too.
But Nick isn't done quite yet. She's got him feeling some kind of way, and he sits on the counter, kind of for once standing up for himself and saying that he didn't do anything wrong.
I can't be myself, I guess. And I can't dress up, I guess. I gotta look dumb. Do you hear me, Hannah? Hannah, can you hear me?
It's 1:30 in the morning. Then we can talk about it tomorrow.
What's interesting about this scene is that Hannah's energy entirely shifts as soon as Nick starts standing up for himself. Now, maybe that was her trying to put it to bed so she herself could go to bed, but I honestly think the more he stands up for himself, the more she gets to be less of a mothering energy and more of a partner energy. But it gets worse, because we fast forward to Nick meeting Hannah with her friends, and it just does not go well.
I'm having to change a lot about the type of man I am.
But those are easy fixes.
Nick tries to stand his ground a little bit, but honestly, the three of them are just kind of picking at him and being like, well, it's easy. Why haven't you done it yet? Why haven't you done it yet? You say you want to change, but why haven't you done it yet?
For sure.
Like that, like
Then do it.
respect me, walk the dog, pick up around the house. Like,
And the next thing you know, Hannah and Nick do not show up for the wedding dress and tux fittings. It seems like the friends may have got into Hannah's head. Remember, Hannah was also affected by her friends in the pods for the first time that she ended it with him, and it seems to have happened again. It's the dress fittings and the tux fittings, and it's boring, so we're going to skip it. Back with Nick and Hannah, and it's not looking good.
I don't understand you. The Katie situation, for example, because I can use specific examples. I don't know if you can, but I can, because I remember things I know you don't.
Throwing shade for no reason.
It's my truth.
But you see how you're always demeaning, you're always talking down on me. We're not equals here.
What I really took away from this is that Hannah and Nick are not bad people. Neither one of these people is the villain in this couple. Hannah is great, Nick is great, they are terrible for each other. I think they will both make someone very happy in the future. Hannah has a lot going for her. There are people who will fit in with that kind of energy very well, and it'll bring out the best of her and the best of them. Nick seems like a really sweet guy, honestly, and if he works on himself a little bit but finds someone who can match that kind of chill, go with the flow energy and doesn't judge him for where he is in his life at this time, I think he could be a really great partner as well, honestly.
You know, I'm a pretty simple man, right? So my responsibilities are being the best son and friend I can be. I'm not the type of man to sit here and come up with a notebook full of notes and bash you.
Just want to make sure if this is the last conversation that we ever have, I would like to be able to get all my feelings out.
But as it is, Hannah has been trying to mold and shape him from a boy into a man that she could fall in love with. As much as she protests, I never wanted you to change, you have been trying to change him this entire time. And I think fundamentally, Nick is not the right guy for Hannah.
I think I'm just done trying.
It's just very telling to say that you're done trying. It really implies that they had fun in the pods together, and once they came out and reality hit, she kept saying she loved this guy, but I think she loved the idea of this guy that she had in her head. It's also a really bad sign that she kept saying, I'm no longer fun when I'm with you. I was fun in the pods, and I'm a really fun person, Nick. I'm fun, Hannah. And when I'm with you, I'm no longer fun. Once again, a lot of it comes down to Hannah's perception of herself and the way that she treats other people as a result. We saw in the previous video how even her family were like, Hannah, just like chill out, you know, like she was being a bit too much even for them, and they kind of understood that that's how she operates.
And I feel very manipulated, and I feel very weak. I just don't know if he's even real.
Oh, Hannah, I was rooting for you, but we're not going to do this. We're not playing that card.
Did you love me? I don't know. Do you care about me? I don't know.
We've literally seen this relationship play out, albeit in an edit, but we've seen your facial expressions. We've seen how you've spoken to him, and whilst understandable some of the time, we're not going to do this and play the manipulated card to save face.
Thought I was good enough for you, and I was wrong the whole time. I thought you understood me. I was wrong the whole time.
The fact is, Hannah is the queen of projecting, and in this confessional she says Nick was more worried about how the world would see him than by being honest and being just with her. And I think sadly the truth of the matter is, Hannah was the one that was worried about how the world's going to see her after her friends got in her head. And now she's ended things and pulled the I was manipulated card to try to save face. Since the show aired, Hannah's been poking a lot of fun at herself and acting quite embarrassed on social media. I don't think she's happy with the way that she conducted herself. She has also lost a ton of weight. Not that she looked bad before, but she looks like an entirely different person. Honestly, I'm starting to think Hannah was not in a very good place during the shooting of this. She just seemed so stressed out and unhappy, and I hope she's in a better place now, and I wish both her and Nick well, but trying to label him as a manipulator at the end really put a bad taste in my mouth on Hannah. Like, I'm sorry, have you seen how bad some of the men were on this show, and you're the one having a confessional playing the victim and saying you felt manipulated? Spare me. If Monica can have a conversation and bury the hatchet with Steven, girl, you can be nicer to Nick.
I do love you.
I love you too.
And finally, it's time for Ramses and Marissa to have a big talk.
I also don't want to jump to any, like, rash decisions.
It's funny to me how the Love is Blind camera crew always seem to show up, like, mid-conversation, giving you that feeling like you've switched channels into the middle of a scene. So we don't get the full story, but it seems like Ramses is having doubts after spending some time with some friends. He doesn't want to get divorced if it doesn't work out.
I told you, like, I don't question, like, whether I love you or not.
Don't you see that, like, you talk to some people and then your mind start to wonder?
The audacity of this already once married and divorced man to be the one having doubts about Marissa. Honestly, my only wish for the finals is that Ramses makes it to the end only for Marissa to say no, as her mother gives her a standing ovation and whoops and cheers.
The risk is that we give our all. Like, I bare my soul to you, you bare your soul to me, and it doesn't work out. We're all terrified of that, but that's literally the risk of falling in love, Ramses.
And that's where this episode ended. I really thought we were getting all of the episodes and the weddings today, but apparently not. Netflix needs to bump those subscriber numbers up for the shareholders. So let me know in a comment if you want me to cover the weddings and perhaps the reunion as well, if it's juicy. And please do let me know your thoughts in a comment on the show. Tell me if you agree, tell me if you disagree, but tell me something. If you liked this, you'd probably enjoy my full recap of Singles Inferno. It's the best dating show on Netflix and definitely better than Love is Blind. I've been MadMorph, this has been my movie club, and you can find my gaming channel and my bedtime story podcast below this video. Until next time, thanks for watching, and good night.